Come on, let's keep a little optimism here.
Yes, optimism. I'm going to be optimistic, and we're going to do a video on some of the top defensive teams for Grand Arena in the game. Now, let me preface this with, these obviously aren't the Darth Revan, the Jedi Knight Revan, the Treyas, the Padmes, the CLSs, the meta teams in the game, because let's assume you're going to be using those for offense. So what we have here is, if modded correctly, and there's going to be videos coming out on these teams modded, on how to mod these teams, and obviously if geared correctly, more so, especially if you're kind of a player that is newer to the game or lower galactic power, mods definitely matter, which is why there's going to be mod videos coming out on each of these factions. But 6 best defensive teams in the game. We'll get this started here. Obviously, this is opinionated. It's based on what I do, what I faced, and what can be a nightmare to face. And these are teams that you're not going to use on offense. And I understand, guys, there is so much to do in the game. But with all the chaos going on, let's just say, you know what, I'm going to kick back, focus on something a little different, really focus on Grand Arena, and maybe get a few teams leveled up, even to gear 11, just straight up to gear 12, and learn how to mod them correctly. So let's get started. Number 1, we have Nightsisters with Asajj lead and Nightsister Spirit. Now listen, you have to have the Zeta on Asajj's leadership for this to work. The Nightsisters are the team I am working to take to gear 13 next, because I'm really going to start focusing heavy on Grand Arena winning, because it is so much fun. I love that aspect of the game, and they're going to add new content. Things are going to get better. I know you have to have a difference between realism and optimism, but you have an Asajj lead, Mother Talzin, Old Daka, Nightsister Spirit, and Nightsister Zombie. Let me tell you, Nightsister Spirit is really the MVP of this team, with the constant damage, the constant stuns. She really makes the team, and you have to have Asajj's leadership. Mother Talzin's leadership does not work nearly as well, because when you place them on defense, whenever I play offense, I usually use Mother Talzin. But when you place them on defense, the ability to get that extra speed and offense, and especially with Old Daka heals and even Asajj healing, you're going to be getting 50% turn meter when you fall below 100% health. And since you're going to be healing, you're going to really get that turn meter train turning. And you're going to have a 50% chance to remove turn meter from the other team. So it kind of takes the AI out of it. Or I shouldn't say, it kind of, in the sense, you know, since they're going to be automatically attacking, the computer doesn't have to do things exactly right to make this team work. You know, you don't have to have a certain ability after a certain ability after a certain ability. With that leadership, it can really just kind of go in there, do its job. And again, there's going to be a how to mod series on these as well. Next, these are in no particular order, okay? A good first order team can be hard to get through as well. And let me tell you, I don't have this character included in the first order team, and as you can see, my first order isn't very good. It's a team I'm going to be focusing on after Nightsisters, probably. You can throw Wat Tambor into a first order team, and it's a disaster to take down. So obviously you have a Kylo Ren Unmasked lead, and here's the other characters you'll be using. First order officer, Kylo Ren, the original Kylo Ren, first order stormtrooper, and first order executioner. I'm working on getting these characters all geared up. This is a team that I face quite often in Grand Arena, and if modded correctly, again, I usually have to use my Jedi Training Rey team to take out a bounty hunter team, a Bosk-led bounty hunter team, or first order. But if modded correctly, they can still get the win, and they're very solid. You have to use 5 characters on these teams, guys, to take them down if they're geared correctly, modded correctly, stuff like that. So first order. Now, Old Republic, Karth lead. It's very important to have the Zeta on Karth's leadership here, and I'm about getting mission to gear 12. I'm also working on her at the same time. So what characters would we use here? Okay, I'm throwing T3, M4 out. If you have the Zetas on Mission and Zalbar, it becomes even more of a nightmare team to use, okay? That would be suggested if you're really going to focus on the Old Republic team here. Karth Onasi lead, Mission, Zalbar, Canderous, and there are 2 characters you can throw into this lineup that are really going to make a difference. L3, the Scoundrel Tank, But since I'm going to have her in probably a different lineup we're going to use here, Wampa. Wampa is a character that you can find that you're probably, you know, I know people use him on offense, but he can fit into any team. And he makes this team a lot better on defense if modded correctly and, you know, geared correctly and stuff like that. I know, obviously, you're saying, well, if you gear any team correctly, they can be good. I know, but this is being able to save good offensive teams still and still requiring people to use 5 characters to take these teams out. So, Old Republic, Karth lead, Mission, Zalbar. If you have Zetas on those two, it's going to make it even way better. Have to have the Zeta on Karth lead as well. Canderous and Wampa, and that's a very solid Old Republic team. Next, we're going to talk about a Bounty Hunter team, and I know most people use a Bosk lead. Bosk leads can get destroyed by JTR really easily as well. So what we're going to talk about is a Django-led team. Django lead, Bosk, Boba. I use Embo. Okay, those 4 bounty hunters, and then to really make it solid defensively, I know a lot of people have struggles with this. You know, you can put Greedo in there as a 5th if you want. Dengar is actually probably a better 5th. But if the best defensive team with the Django lead consists of Django, Boba, Bosk, Embo, and we have Nest. Okay, Nest is a person a lot of people like to save for offense because she can solo Ewoks. I understand that. But to really make a solid Django lead team, bounty hunter team, you throw Nest in there, it can become... I laid this just in my last Grand Arena, and it took the guy 4 times to get through, and I didn't even have the best mods on the bounty hunters. Okay, and the guy I was facing had some his roster was pretty good. Okay, so obviously we'll go over how to mod this team in a different video as well, but throwing Nest in there makes a huge difference, and it can really make that bounty hunter team a nightmare to take care of. Now I have 2 more teams here. Before I go over what I'm going to consider the absolute nightmare team to take down that's pretty good defensively, I'm going to go over Phoenix without Ezra. Okay, a lot of people save Ezra for offense in some instances. If you have your Phoenix team modded correctly, I know a few guys in Grand Arena that specifically put a Zeta on all of the Phoenix characters that required them, and then got them to year 12, and they can be a pain to take down. Palpatine can get through them. There's a lot of teams that can go through them, but you're going to have to actually focus when they're modded correctly, get them geared up. And Phoenix is a team that a lot of people should have the way it is, especially if you're trying to get Grand Admiral Thrawn. Even at gear 11 with correct mods, they can still hold their own. So Hera lead, obviously, Chopper, Zeb, Kanan, and Sabine. A lot of people don't have extra Zetas lying around, but if you're a higher galactic power team and you're looking, or person, and you're looking for another solid team in Grand Arena, the Phoenix team is always a solid bet. It's probably not one of the top ones on this list, but you can throw it in there. It'll do a good job. Now, the last team I'm going to go over here, and the reason I'm doing 6 is because, 5 would be good, but 6, you can choose 6 bots. That's going to fill 3 zones. Okay, and this next team, oh my gosh, when I face one, it could be a nightmare to face. Again, when modded correctly. I don't have all the characters geared up myself, but we're gonna look at a Kira lead team. Okay, Kira lead, she's a great character herself. She can really, oh man, with her stagger ability and stuff like that, she's good. And there's a lot of teams out there that will throw Mission and Zalbar into that team, but no, the team we're going to talk about is a Kira lead team. Vandor Chewbacca, I'm also working on him. He's one of the only characters I don't have at 7 stars. Have to have the Zeta on Ferocious Protector, okay, for this team to work. When another light-side scoundrel ally is defeated, revive that ally at 60% health. If Chewbacca is prepared, then Chewbacca is no longer prepared. Okay, reviving, I mean, that it's really solid. And when you throw, there's a certain team people throw in there that you can take this team down, but I'm saying there's another team that the team I'm talking about here is Kira, Vandor Chewie, and then Captain Solo. I know a lot of people do not have this character leveled up, geared up whatsoever, but again, if you're looking for some other characters to gear up, you have him and you put his Zeta on him. First of all, when he uses a basic attack, he gains 10% max health for 3 turns stacking. The Zeta isn't nearly as important, but it's his search and rescue that allows you to revive a random defeated ally at 1% health and 0% turn meter. If that ally is a rebel, they recover 50. Okay, basically, you have another revive in here. You can revive with Vander Chewie. You can revive with Captain Solo. Okay? Again, this is with the Kira lead. Another character, I said you could use L3 in a Old Republic team. I would use L3 in this team, okay? L3 is probably the most underrated tank in the game. She's amazing with the CLS team, but she's constantly going to be taunting. She's not a damage dealer, but she can heal with her Spark of Hope, okay? So you mod her for health. It's just, I mean, again, this team is it's potentially a timeout team, okay? That's how if you mod it correctly. Nest would be another character to throw in there, but since I want her on the Bounty Hunter team, let's look for a potential damage dealer, and that would be young Han Solo, okay? Young Han Solo, the longer the battle goes on, he's going to be able to do more damage over time. So you have young Han Solo, the damage dealer, L3 as a tank, Captain Solo as a, decent damage dealer, but then also another revive, Vander Chewie and Kira. When I face this team, it is an absolute nightmare. I call it the nightmare defensive team. Okay, there's a few other characters you could substitute in here as well. I see people use young Lando Calrissian because they have him leveled up because they have the, how do I want to call it, young Falcon, the Solo movie Falcon and stuff like that. Sometimes I see it with Stormtrooper Han. It can be, it's so tough. And sometimes I see it with Empress Nest as well, like I said. But in my opinion, the best team is Kira, Vander Chewie, Captain Solo, L3, and Young Han. And I've faced it twice in the last 2 weeks, and I've had to spend... because usually people lay it in the back, okay? You've used a lot of your good teams. You have an average team to use, and you're like, okay, I'll throw this team in. I should be able to do it. Or you decide to try to do it with a, 3-person team, 4-person team, and the revives just absolutely kill you. Especially if you have Nest in there. Again, but we want to be able to divide our resources correctly there. So right there, that is an amazing, the Scoundrel team is an amazing team. The issue is a lot of people don't have all those characters leveled up, geared up, have mods on them or stuff like that. But if it's a team, if you're really focusing on Grand Arena, and you're sick of going after General Skywalker and stuff like that, you can focus on these teams. So again, just to recap, we have a Nightsister team with the Saj lead and Nightsister Spirit, a First Order team. First Order officer, by the way, is very important to the First Order team, okay? Because he can be giving turn meter, he can do damage, he's giving advantage and stuff like that. So make sure you have First Order officer involved in there as well, please. Kylo Ren Mass, First Order officer, Kylo Ren, First Order Stormtrooper, and First Order Executioner. Then the Old Republic team with a Wampa instead of T3. A Phoenix team, again, probably a team that, you don't... Just put some good mods on it. Again, we'll do a how to mod video with these. A Bounty Hunter team with the Django lead and Nest. Not going to be able to get through it very easily with a JTR team. And then, again, I have the Kira Nightmare team with Kira, Vander, Chewie, Captain Solo, L3, and Young Han. So those are 6 teams you can work on if you're really focused on Grand Arena. I know a lot of people that are sticking with the game because of Grand Arena. And I understand resources are sparse, and I know I'm going to get comments in the comment section saying, how can you expect us to do these teams? We have so many other teams to focus on. I understand that, okay? I'm just straight up giving you, in my opinion, the six best defensive teams to lay down where you can keep a lot of your good teams for offense. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please smash the subscribe button, like the video, click the notification bell so you can be alerted to all videos that I post. I'm also leaving a link to my Discord server, Patreon page, and Twitter page in the description below. Check all of those out. And again, comments in the comment section. The last video I posted has been amazing. I hope some of you new subscribers enjoy this video. Give me constructive criticism. Let me know what you want to see more of, and expect how to mod videos for each of these teams to come out soon. Otherwise, peace out, and may the Force be with you.